name is Muhammad Anugraha. I'm from the Maritime University of Rajalihaji. Today I'm going to explain to you about culture shock. Culture shock. Living in a new environment can be a real pain if you have knowledge about it and its culture. It's totally different from just visiting or spending a holiday in a foreign country or place. Culture shock happens when people become anxious because they do not speak the language, know the custom, or understand the people's daily life. People who cannot adjust themselves to the new environment or new culture may reject everything that is new to them and exaggerate the positive aspects of their own culture. The definition of culture shock is a trauma you experience when you make your culture different from your own culture. Culture shock is the personal disorientation a person may feel when experiencing unfamiliar life. Due to immigration or visits to a new country, or to move between social environments, also simple travel to another type of life. Besides language barrier, frustration, anxiety, and stress also occur, occur whenever people can't do all the things they are accustomed to doing in their everyday life. These can include work, home, and leisure related to activities that they are either no longer be able to do at all or no longer be able to do like they are accustomed to. For example, sometimes because of differences in transportation services, people cannot move around as freely or as widely as they are accustomed to. Additional issues such as telecommunication systems, things like grocery shopping, gas station system, getting to work, and other things can lead to a frustration also. Another source of considerable distress for some people is not being able to eat the foods they are accustomed to. Anyone who wants to live and work overseas should be prepared to make considerable changes in their diets and get accustomed to the local food since sometimes limited selection of familiar stores and restaurants. Symptoms of shock culture. Although culture shock generally understood as temporary shock felt when confronted by different cultural customs, ways of thinking and behavior pattern it actually refers to a psychological state of depression caused by the experience of successive failures in unfamiliar social situations. Culture shock is temporary, and everybody goes through it to some extent in the process of cultural adaptation. General symptoms of cultural shock include irritation, homesickness, loneliness, nervousness, loss of appetite, sleeplessness, feeling tired, extreme pride in one's home culture, hypersensitivity, acceptability, confusion, incompetence, etc. Stages of shock and cultural adjustment. Cultural shock can be described as consisting of at least one of four distinct phases: honeymoon, negotiation, adjustment, and mastery. During the honeymoon phase, the differences between the old and new culture are seen in a romantic light. During the first few weeks, most people are fascinated by the new culture. They associate with nationals, speak their language, and who are polite to foreigners. This period is full of observations and new discoveries. Like most honeymoon periods, this stage eventually ends. After some time, usually around 3 months, depending on the individual, differences between the old and new culture become apparent and may create anxiety. This is the mark of the negotiation phase. Excitement may eventually give way to unpleasant feelings of frustration and anger as one continues to experience unfavorable events that may be perceived as strange and offensive to one's cultural attitude. Again, after some time, one grows accustomed to the new culture and develops routines. Marking the adjustment phase, one knows that what to expect in most situations. The host country no longer feels old and new. One becomes concerned with basic living again and things become more normal. The mastery stage, assignees are able to participate fully and comfortably in the host culture. Mastery does not mean total conversion. People often keep many traits from their earlier cultures, such as accents, languages. It is often referred to as biculturalism stage. Cultural shock. Cultural shock can be prevented by striving to become more culturally relativistic and flexible in thinking and behavior, by developing a real enthusiasm for learning about the host culture and by forming real intercultural relationships. Successful cross-cultural communication is a fairly straightforward proposition with a correct attitude, few good cultural informants, few cross-cultural communication concepts, and some time spent as participant observer. A person will quite naturally develop a repertoire of intercultural interaction skills, and when a person begins to move further along the continuum of cross-cultural understanding and interaction, they will more quickly return to identity roots in the new host culture and feel more at ease with themselves and their surroundings. They will become happier, productive at home or while moving about within the society at large. They will no longer be negatively affected by the discomfort, expectancies. They will understand more and be understood more by others. In short, they will have become bicultural individuals.